Sure.
Yeah.
And gas tax and everything else.
Let's not,
Are
you
we
know,
up and
look at
right?
these from
Okay, we'll stand and say the pledge.
That makes sense, right?
Pledge allegiance. Okay, I will call the meeting to order. Is anyone here for the open public forum? 2 minutes? Not? We will move on. Approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Okay, first we're going to establish it. Did you
Consent.
have anything
I'm
to
sorry.
add?
I'm sorry, I thought you said consent agenda. I have
Anything
nothing,
to
no,
add to the
sir.
agenda?
Nothing.
Rob?
I have nothing, no.
Pete?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Did you have anything? Okay, now I'll entertain that motion.
Motion to
Rob made a
approve the
motion.
agenda, yes.
Second.
And we have a second from Dale. Any further discussion? If not, proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Consent agenda. Does everybody
no
have,
changes,
anybody have any questions on anything?
No. Motion to approve consent agenda as well.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? If not, proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, new business, construction project at Hennepin and Carver Street.
Good evening. I think most of you know me, but not sure if we've met, but I'm Brian Petzel with ISG, the city engineer.
Okay. I think several years ago when I was on council before we met.
Okay, that could be. So I'm here tonight just to discuss the proposal we put together for essentially a feasibility study for approximately 4 blocks of reconstruction, utilities and street for Hennepin Street, which is also State Aid Highway 32, and Carver Street, both from Main Street to 2nd Street. I was asked by, I guess, Jenny and Troy both to take a look at doing this, being that the feasibility study we had done for First Street has been kind of put on the back burner, given DFA their potential plans for their expansion. So I think their thoughts were that, the city should maybe continue to keep moving forward with improvements, while DFA kind of figures out their timeline. So that's what I did. I put together a proposal basically for a feasibility study for those basically 4 blocks. And really what the feasibility study, the purpose of it is kind of to get the ball rolling on that assessment process. So it's kind of the first step in the Minnesota Statute 429 process, for the city if they want to use special assessments as, as a means to get some funding for it. I'm not sure if there's any questions about the proposal, but if the project were to be constructed, let's say in 2020, we're already past the deadlines essentially to apply for any PFA fundings, at least from a clean water standpoint. The drinking water, I think the applications for those are due, I think it's May. I think it's like the first Friday in May, but it'd be pretty tough for us to get the feasibility study done and get the hearings and the necessary things done for that application. And also, I don't believe you'd rank very high on that project or priority list anyways. So the thought would be that we wouldn't pursue any PFA funding if it were to be constructed in 2020. The reason to kind of still get the ball rolling though that early would be if the city did decide to move forward after the feasibility study and the improvement hearing, that would give us plenty of time to get survey done, construction plans put together, looking at maybe, possibly a spring bid. So that's kind of why we'd want to get maybe the ball rolling
Well,
sooner rather
explain
than
to me
later.
that particular project, and my concern is with DFA, if they would,
Yep, so it would still kind of tie into that project eventually, but the idea of doing these 2 areas would be to eliminate the sanitary sewer crossings of Highway 19 to kind of get ahead of any improvements they might do in the future to 19. if it would move on to construction plans, we would design it so that it could accommodate whatever DFA decides to do. If they decide to expand, then there's going to have to be other rerouting that would have to be done as part of that. But we would make sure that whatever we were to design for Hennepin and Carver, that would, you know, I guess work with whichever way DFA would decide to go. So that would be a consideration, yeah, within the report, for sure.
I get the two mixed up. Hennepin is the far one over.
Yes.
Yes.
Carver is the one where, right out here.
The one,
It's the next one over.
yeah, the next one to the west.
Ryan's live on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So then I guess, and then
Booth is on Hennepin.
kind of another piece of it is that it is, Hennepin is also a stated highway, so I think the sooner you could give the county maybe some idea of if something's going to happen there or not, there's probably more of a likelihood that you'd be receiving any, you know, shared matching funds or whatever. So, I know we had discussions with them about First Street, and then when that project didn't move forward because of the DFA, you know, potential plans for expansion, that I believe they had maybe allocated some of that money different places. So I'm not sure if that same money is still set aside.
So they're talking about 2 blocks from 19 south on Hennepin
Yep.
and Carver.
Yep.
Were they tied together then? Or
Well, they would essentially tie in more or less where they do currently, or really all the rerouting for what would need to be done for what DFA has talked about doing would have to take place essentially from Second Street downstream, more or less, so.
Okay. Does everybody understand the project?
So you're gonna go on Carver, from the highway,
Essentially from
Main Street, what I call Main Street, down past
the
Peters and
Second Street, the one with the really wide right of way, yep. Yep, so that's what that's what the study would take a look at, what, you know, the feasibility of it, you know, what maybe the potential preliminary assessments would look like, you know, preliminary cost estimates and those types of things. Alternatives, you know, generally the alternatives would be a do nothing or possibly like a rehabilitation of, you know, maybe some sanitary lines or things like that.
And how could that change if DFA decided to go ahead with their project?
Really, there wouldn't be a whole lot of change that would probably happen in these 4 blocks. Like I say, it would be all basically downstream of there. What would happen downstream is basically what would have to be decided is if DFA decides to expand, all those First Street utilities would essentially cut right through where they want to expand, so those would have to be rerouted one way or the other. And it would probably have to be done from Second Street. The sanitary you'd either send to the east side interceptor, the large one, and that's probably, I guess it would all depend on what properties DFA would or wouldn't purchase. I know they had talked about, you know, potentially purchasing some properties, I guess, on the east end of where Second Street would essentially dead end or T.
I just want to make sure that we're not going to have to make any changes in it.
Right, no, that's something we'll take a look at in the report, yep, for, you know, to accommodate any future rerouting or, you know, downstream improvements for sure.
And it sounds like DFA really, they didn't have any time or estimate.
Last time I talked to them, it was supposed to be third quarter of this year. They would see if they could get an answer on that.
Okay. So does everybody understand the project then?
just one more question. Carver could be done without Hennepin?
They're essentially independent of each other, correct?
All right,
But
so
they-
if we were still waiting for DFA, what we did with on Carver wouldn't interfere later on what's going on over there.
I don't think either one would, Hennepin or Carver both. The idea is of doing both would be to eliminate both of the Highway 19 sanitary crossings is kind of the main push to do those 4 blocks, let's say, versus 4 blocks somewhere else.
Part of Hennepin?
It would be just the first 2 blocks south of Highway 19, essentially.
Say that the dairy isn't sure,
Yep,
and the road is coming through
yep.
the state. Would you still want to just go across anyway?
Are you talking about go across 19?
Yeah.
I don't know if there would be really a need for it.
Okay.
essentially what you're doing is you're eliminating the sanitary crossing. You'd essentially then Highway 19 would be essentially kind of like where the flow splits for the sanitary. You'd have going south and north.
And when they work on Highway 19, will any of the work we do have to be redone at that time?
Maybe just a very small amount where they tie in at the right of way. I mean, what we would probably look at doing is tying in at the MnDOT right of way. MnDOT, if that sanitary sewer is going to be abandoned, they might require that it be sand filled or something like that, but we wouldn't be tearing into the Highway 19. At least that would be the idea. I mean, there might be a little bit of disturbance for tying in and things like that, but
Okay.
I can't, we wouldn't be planning, I guess, to go into 19.
And this was identified as one of the problem areas that needed to be worked on?
Yep, when we were eliminating the crossings at the highway too,
Right.
when Joel had it cameraed 3 years ago, and he said it's cast iron, ductile iron there.
Okay.
He said it's grown almost shut, he could barely get the jetter camera through it. And that was 3 years ago.
And I think it just, if I remember correctly, that sanitary, it just essentially crosses 19, and then there's one manhole on the north side of 19 for both, and then it's not picking up a very large area north of 19. So you wouldn't be, diverting, I guess, a lot of the existing flows, essentially.
Okay.
We're talking just about sanitary, or we're talking about
The-
if we open up the ditch, we're talking about everything, or?
The feasibility study would look at, any water main, or I don't believe there's much storm sewer on Carver Street, but there is some in Hennepin, at least at Second Street. I don't believe there's a whole lot further north of Second Street there either.
What's the cost of the feasibility study?
The feasibility study, the proposal was for $9,500, and that would include the improvement hearing also.
Okay.
Because then essentially after the improvement hearing, that's kind of when the city would decide whether or not to, I guess, move forward with plans and specs at that point.
All right, are there any other questions?
We're gonna do it sometime anyway.
I think the idea is just to keep moving forward with this project, if that's part of what would be done down here anyhow, instead of waiting another year. And if it doesn't affect it adversely, I mean,
Right, and if DFA is not going to get approval till third quarter, it'd be pretty, I mean, anything that would have to be done with First Street's going to be a fairly major project, especially if there's rerouting involved. I think even just from the power standpoint, there's a fair amount of stuff that needs to be done there as well, correct?
Are you talking DFA?
Yeah. So I think if you're looking at 2020, if they're not going to get approval by third quarter, it'd be pretty tough to do anything
Yeah.
in that short window,
okay.
you know.
All right, I'll entertain a motion if somebody wants to move on this with the feasibility study.
So,
There's a motion made by Pete,
Second.
a second by Rob. Is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? If not, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Is Karen here?
This part is
Oh, there she is.
This part is me.
Oh, this part, you go ahead.
The resolution authorizing future qualifying part-time police officers. Para contacted me. We've had 2 police officers that were full-time go down to essentially part-time. And they still do qualify for para, which is based on their, wages. But para needs a resolution from us saying that it's just their process, that yes, we are aware that they've gone from full-time to part-time, and that yes, they still do qualify for those para.
Okay.
And it's we just have to do this one time, and then if we had another officer go down to part-time, I just would resubmit this same resolution each
Okay.
time. But
That
it's
has
their
been
policy.
passed, all right. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion made by Dale, is there a second? Seconded by Pete, we don't have a lot of choices.
Thanks, babe.
Seconded by Pete, is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? If not, proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, Troy, the observation proposal from DNR.
Did you guys look through the observation well? It's basically the DNR wants to put an observation well in probably the northeast corner of the park. They're gonna pay for the whole well. It's for monitoring the other 3 wells that are within 1,000 feet of it. Basically, we would have to pick up is the monitoring equipment, and we kinda looked it up. Roughly, it's between $1,500 and $2,000. But they also said there might be some grant money from the Department of Health to pay for that equipment.
What's the reason?
They just want to basically monitor the aquifer and the water usage.
Don't we report?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Every month they take static level
Right.
on the wells.
Are they monitoring for pollution, or
Nope,
just monitoring for
just
water
the-
quality, or
Just the level of the water in the aquifer is what's,
Why can't they use our existing wells?
It's too close.
that's,
The draw will throw off the.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
every time
because,
they.
you're running the
Okay.
wells, it draws down,
All right.
makes a cone in the aquifer, where this one it's kind of.
And this must be a fairly small.
Yeah, it's like
It's a 4
4 inch.
It's tiny.
Is there any other, I don't like the location.
I don't either.
It's right smack down in the middle of that Frisbee playing field.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, if it was up by the picnic shelter, where you could protect it, but a 4-inch PVC wellhead,
yeah,
it's
well,
in the park.
they wanted
Yeah.
basically 3 cement or boulders around
Not
it.
in the park.
I
Over
guess
by the
that's,
old water tower,
that's one thing we'd have to get out and have them come in and see if,
over by the old water tower, that's far enough out, that's within their zone. What's that little brick building just west of the water tower?
Used to be the pump house.
that used
Yeah,
to be them.
something over in there, but out in the middle of that park, no. I mean, yeah, for the test well, no problem, but in the middle of a park.
Why did they choose that area, do you know?
The email said basically because it's in such a distance from the other wells, and that's kind of why they chose it. It was between 500 and 1,000 feet. They had kind of a circle drawn on the email.
So we can ask that it could be moved.
Right, I'm sure we
Somewhat.
could, and it's park property, it's city property, so I'm assuming that's why they kind of
Yeah,
chose that
sure it
location.
was.
Can we move that to the west side instead of east? Too many damn power cables in there.
I guess when it came to time to do this, we'd have to have them out and see what the best location would
See
be.
the map?
I don't
Yeah.
think it's,
Yeah.
I don't think it's set in stone where it's gonna be right now.
That's why I'm wondering if we could approve it contingent upon
Location,
location, yeah.
Yeah, it's.
Do they have ownership of that well, or do we maintain the ownership of it?
I think the way it sounded, we would maintain the ownership and responsibility of
Yeah.
everything.
I think they would just use it for 25 years or whatever and then seal it.
Yeah.
Yep,
So there would be,
yeah,
The only
'cause
thing we gotta buy is the measuring
the
tape.
monitoring
What's that?
equipment, and basically, I think it said report to
Yeah,
them
well, how much
monthly.
is the monitoring equipment, electronic tape?
$1,500 to $2,000.
Much. But it also means you don't have to do the other ones every day too, right?
Well, and that's not every day, it's once a month.
Month to month.
But that'd be on our,
Right.
that'd be on our, if we still wanna do that, but
Okay.
these would be the reporting ones monthly, so,
The the little well would be the new reporting one?
Yeah.
yep.
Oh, okay, now I get,
Like I said,
there's an
little
advantage
more
to
I
it.
like the idea, just don't like the location. I mean, if you had it up against one of the buildings over there where it could be protected, okay, but,
Or at least out of the middle of the.
yeah, I mean, you could probably put it
Smack
next, I mean,
dab
it's
in the
close
middle.
enough to the ball field. You
Yeah.
could probably put it up against one of the big corner posts on the ball field and guard it and.
Then
you
it
know,
wouldn't be in anybody's way.
Exactly.
Nobody even notices it
Exactly,
that way.
it's just.
I guess that would be a
That's no-go.
conversation we have to have with the DNR, I'm sure it's not set in stone, it's just,
I'll move the approval of it with the contingency that we get to select the spot that is out of the way and not taking up prime real estate in the center of the park. So that's.
Okay, I'll entertain that
I'll
motion.
second that.
Yeah.
Seconded by Dale. Is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? If not, proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Yeah, we're not talking
I mean,
about moving
you
it
know,
great.
you could put it over that one little shed that they use as a warming shed. You could pick it up with a forklift, put the well in, sawzall a 4-inch hole in the bottom, set a shed right over the back of it. Well,
Practically, yeah, I mean, just some protection
just to
from
get it where
just
nobody's,
again, to
kids
keep
aren't
out
hanging
of the
on it,
Middle
and,
of the,
you know.
Yeah.
You're gonna put it right in the middle of the car show park, yeah, that's, you know, it's gonna happen there.
Right, yeah, it's
Well,
Okay.
that's where it's at.
Motion,
done.
motion
On.
carried. Rook grapple purchase. Talk about that.
Basically just the grapple bucket for the
Yeah.
Bobcat for picking up branches and stuff.
How do you pick them up now if you have larger logs or anything?
Right.
And
That's
then
what I was
last year we used the Bobcat and pushed the other ones into
Okay.
the payloader
Is that one
bucket.
of those hook things?
It's just basically a bucket and it's got two
Those
clamps.
Oh, sure,
two
yeah.
separate clamps.
Yeah.
What's the cost of the grapple?
1,900.
Well,
19?
the whole thing was, yeah, 21.
21, yeah.
21 what?
100.
Dollars.
And then it was
100, I'm not
9,000
waiting
or
to see, was it
whatever for a
1,000
trailer?
or 100
We don't
bucks?
have that, we took that
Yeah,
off.
okay,
Oh, you did?
Less than your snow.
$2,138.50.
then, yeah.
We'll put it in for next year, start socking away.
Okay.
See.
Bucket, we can take some of it out of
Yeah,
forestry.
definitely. You back
So
and
the money
everything
would be
else
there for
entries, yes.
this year to go ahead and
For the
purchase that.
bucket.
Motion to
For the
approve.
grapple.
Motion to approve, Mr. Mayor.
Motion made by Rob to approve the purchase of the grapple hook. Is there a second?
Yes, I'll second.
You can't second your own.
Is there a second?
All right.
Waiting for that.
He seconded it. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? If not, proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. City Administrator's report, she's not here right now. Is there anything she wanted you to talk about, or?
Nope, the report is in here.
Okay.
She wasn't sure if you guys wanted me to read it or not, but I think that,
It's in our,
I feel like you need me to read it too,
it's
right?
there, and it'll be on the website, so.
See spot, Ron.
Sorry.
It'll be on the website, too, so it's there.
City Legal, is there anything you,
Nothing extraordinary to report, just even keeled month.
that's a good thing. Water and Sewer Department, is there anything else that you needed to discuss?
Not much, that pretty much covered it. We got all the water meters in the shed out here. We've been installing a couple of them. So starting on that.
How's that been going?
It's pretty good. We've got like 6 or 7 in. We've been just doing some around town, and then we programmed the handheld reader, so we read those, just making sure everything's
Okay.
ready to go here shortly, so.
And the electric meters?
We got the first 16 of them in last week, so
Maybe this week.
we talked about getting around to that this week,
Okay.
so.
Does that reader read the water and the electrical, or do you have two different readers?
It's one reader,
Nice.
reads them both.
Nice.
So if you
Wow.
stand on a fire escape out here, can you hit everything in town?
No, but I was surprised I pulled onto the alley here and I read the car washes already, so.
Wow.
And that's the handheld unit, so.
All right, very good. Street Department?
Awesome.
Corey, nothing. Electrical, anything with the electrical? If not, Pete, MMUA?
How's the windmill coming?
They've they've got a company that's supposed to, I don't know if
Okay.
he showed up or not.
Just
But it's
wondering.
supposed to have been a guy out there to look at that, and they're supposed to be refurbished. And I don't know if that guy is.
Yes, he showed up, I was down there, but we couldn't get to it at the time because it was, the
Wet.
water was right up to the bottom of the windmill, so. I gave him my card, he said he would come back through, he'd give me a call first to make sure the water was down, so.
But you'll have a windmill, I'm pretty sure,
A refurbished one or a new one?
Refurbished.
refurbished.
Okay. All right, anything, well, the fire department, what do you got there?
New fire truck is in,
Yay.
came, Tuesday night,
Looks nice.
so, gonna train on it tomorrow night, maybe at the end of the month, and hopefully, in sometime in May, put it into service.
That sounds
I
good.
want the guys to train on it quite a bit before we
Yeah,
are in the service, so,
yeah, that'd be a good idea.
yep.
Ambulance, nothing there.
It's right there.
The report, yeah. All right, police, come on up, Karen.
I don't have anything that can top Troy's new fire truck. Just very briefly, we've just been focused on hiring this last couple months, and happy to report that I did extend for the patrol position, because as you know, we are hiring for 2 positions, the SRO and the patrol. I background offer to a candidate, a very qualified candidate from the New Ulm area, and so that would, his hiring will be, of course, contingent on the successful background, psych and medical. So we're very excited about that. We're hoping to get him up and going before summer on FTO, field training, that is. With the SRO, we are still, it's a little tougher to find, because obviously they need to find a good candidate. They obviously need to be a good patrol officer, but also have the qualifications that make them a great fit with kids. So we're sort of still in the process, casting a wider net for that, and currently working with the school because they are feeling the absence of our SRO, and I'm happy that they very much missed the program. So working with the school on how Officer Hacker and I can better assist them, maybe come in some early days and still handle our night hours so we don't run into overtime. So I'm going to work with the county on that, with Chief Deputy Templin, on kind of tweaking the schedule, because there's no way we're going to get an SRO before the end of the year.
Right.
It's just not going to happen. So yeah, I've been working with the
the end
school.
of the year?
Well, I'm sorry, school year.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. Before the school year, yes. I stand corrected. So,
Turned all red over here.
yeah. What? Yeah. Certainly hope by summer we'll be well on our way. Other than that, you have my report, and we're very happy that finally winter I think it's been a very long winter for all of us. We've certainly felt it here at the city. And of course, now is the magical time of year that we'll start working on administrative citations warnings/citations, working with homeowners for nuisance type of,
She said that's a magical time.
yes,
I see Arlington hired a 4th full-time
they did.
officer.
I was
What is their
fourth.
population?
3,500?
Yeah,
No, Arlington's 3,500?
I don't know, but I know we
Well,
we
they're
matched.
smaller than Gaylord, aren't they?
Similar to Gaylord.
No.
Yeah, I thought
thought
they were
they're
under
bigger than
2,000.
Oh, well, we can look it up.
Oh, well.
Yes. So,
Their tax rate, so.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Nothing else? Okay, the RS Fiber report.
Hey, you're right,
Everybody get a chance?
2153.
Catch that in the first
2,100, so they're only 700 more than us.
That's more than I thought.
I missed that on the first
Got
go
that
through.
right away.
There's no way.
With this. Okay, what we need to do is we're going to set up a special meeting for the RS Fiber. They are going to be, Julie is the person that's on that committee, and she knows more about it. She's not here tonight. But anyway, we do need to have a special meeting, and it has to do with the financing. I think that somebody is going to be purchasing that debt. And there's something that we need approval on. What we're going to be doing is inviting the other mayors, representatives from the other towns that are all involved with
Part
it.
of it, yep.
And we're looking at next Monday night at 7 o'clock.
Here?
Yes.
Okay.
That in the paper?
Need a motion.
What's that?
Is that gonna be in the paper?
It's got to be, yeah.
Yeah, it'll
Yeah,
be, we'll have
um,
4 days ahead of time, right?
that's a
So it'll be
motion?
4 days. Second.
Okay.
7, 6 o'clock?
No, that's your
Oh,
motion.
I'm sorry, yeah, I thought we had a motion already. I move that we approve of that date and time.
Oh, I forgot the time.
April 8th, it's right there.
April
Oh,
8th at
it's
7.
So
Oh,
we
this
April
little
8th at
thing
7.
up here.
Well, no, right there.
What's that?
we've got to let everybody
above
know
it.
about
There you
this
go.
already, these other mayors? and elected
Yeah, we'll have
officials?
to notify them.
And I'll have to get it right away
In a
so they
week?
can post it.
I think so.
Well, does it have to be, it has to be in their
I think the
official-
people, a lot of them are on that particular board, and I
Anyway.
think the 8th is kicked
No,
off.
Jenny had contacted the administrators and the other
Yeah.
towns to invite them.
Yep.
If you guys set this as the meeting date.
This, okay, we have a motion, second on that?
Yes,
Seconded by Pete. Any further discussion?
I'm gonna recruit you.
Any further discussion? If not, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same
Aye.
sign. Motion carries. Cable Commission report, no meeting. Okay, League of Minnesota State of the Cities report, everybody has that. Otherwise, I think we've covered everything on there. We do have the Sibley County Municipalities meeting tomorrow night in Henderson. Or you can read the rest. All right, I'll
Take it
entertain
that AT group that on April 9th is 10:30 a.m., not 10:30
AM,
p.m.
you're correct,
That's a
yep.
late night to be,
That's a late
late time at
meeting.
night discussing
We're gonna be
healthcare.
up really late to discuss
So-
insurance.
Mr. Mayor, I
You'll
move
do
we-
anything to keep us away from that meeting, won't you?
I move adjournment, sir.
Okay, motion made. Second. No one wants to go home?
Say Aaron. Aaron said second.
Yeah. Seconded by Pete. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion
Stay here.
carries.
Say, Gordy, the street out there really broke up, huh?
Here, Oswald here.
Everything out of-